How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Halloween Ends, the third Blumhouse movie. This came out October 14th, 2022, and was directed by David Gordon Green, the same guy that made the last two Blumhouse movies. And once again, we star Jamie Lee Curtis and Andi Matichak. And overall, this was a movie I was really looking forward to. I'm a big fan of the Halloween movies, and I like pretty much all of them to varying degrees. And, I was really excited. This was the last Blumhouse one, supposedly, and I wanted to see how the big epic finale would go. Now, I didn't get a chance to watch this the very first night it came out, and I had to wait a couple days till I had an opportunity, and I wanted to go in relatively unspoiled, I saw a few trailers primarily when they were played in front of other movies, or YouTube just happened to play them as an ad, or I saw them on TV or something. So I did see some of the trailers, but I wasn't trying to dig in and find out every little thing about this movie. And I know there were some people that were trying to, read into leaks and stuff, but I was trying to stay relatively unspoiled. However, because I didn't get to see the movie the absolute opening night, there were all these reviews that came out, and just YouTube being YouTube, hey, we'll put this in your recommended feed, and without even clicking on it, the thumbnail and the video title, Halloween Ends, worst Halloween movie ever. And I really, really wish I didn't get just flooded with all this stuff. But still, I was doing my best to keep my mind clear. You see, a lot of people hated Halloween Kills as well. And while I know Halloween Kills isn't the best movie, it really did have an extreme energy and a ton of crazy, kills, because it's Halloween Kills. It had a ton of craziness behind it. I really did like the big over-the-top energy of Kills. So overall, I wasn't too disappointed seeing the initial reviews. I thought it would be another case like that it would just kind of be a bit of a sillier movie. Sadly, though, having gone to see it, this really isn't a great movie. I don't want to be too negative, and I do want to fairly analyze everything, but this is another candidate for possibly the worst Halloween movie. I actually just recently watched Halloween Resurrection to review on this channel, and I said that one's the worst one, and I think that one, I don't know. It's up in the air now. Maybe I should do a ranking video, but okay, let's dive into non-spoilery basis analysis. Basically, the ads built this up, and the fans too, and just basic logic. This is the last Blumhouse movie. This is the epic Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers movie. This is a showdown movie, right? And it's not. This movie focuses on a random side character that they just introduced for this movie. Maybe it would have been not as bad if he had been in the other two movies, but he's not. And it's just like, this is the last one, and you introduce a random character at the last moment and have the movie primarily focus on him. When you do get to the end, to that battle between Michael and Laurie, it is pretty good, but it's a case of too little too late. We've been focusing on this other thing for so much of the movie, and then that plot literally, just kind of goes away in a second, and the movie abruptly shifts to the movie we thought it'd be, but not enough, it just, And yeah, you go in and you're expecting something, and this is the case, and it's very much like Halloween 3, where people were given a movie they didn't expect, and they didn't like it. It broke formula too much. And I do want to see movies surprise me. I hate it when things get so formulaic I can see them coming. I want to see them surprise me. I want to see them do something different. But that's not an excuse for going off the rails. You can't just take some other random movie, call it a Halloween movie and then just ship it out there like that weird Cloverfield Goes to Space movie. You know, you got to stick to the formula a little bit. You got to keep the story we've been following a little bit, but you know, this movie, and here's the thing, it's so much of a random side quest for most of it. I feel that if this movie wasn't the last one, like, take this for a thought experiment. Swap Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends around. Halloween Ends is a weird movie that has not much to do with the main story. If that was a middle chapter, we could be like, okay, it's a little bit of a break, we're gonna get to the insanity later, and it's not the last one. If Ends had come before Kills, and then we got Kills with its big over-the-top violent insanity, and then that was the last one, I mean, you'd obviously have to swap the ending bits as well, but this is like a weird middle chapter at best for Halloween, but you're telling me it's the finale, and that's a mistake. But also, it's so much of a weird side quest that it really shouldn't have even been a Halloween movie. You know, change out the Halloween iconography for something else. Maybe invent a new serial killer for this movie. And if you had showed this to me outside of Halloween context, and say it was a Shudder original, this really does feel kind of like a weird Shudder original. Say it was that, it wasn't a Halloween movie, I wouldn't have thought it was the best thing ever, but I would have been like, yeah, that's a fine, different take on a slasher movie, but it's not the conclusion that this movie was supposed to be. And again, I think movies should be experimental, but that's not an excuse for going off the rails. But that's not the only thing. There's other things like the characters are really weird in this movie. A few of the characters we've seen before don't really act like themselves. And a lot of the other characters in this movie act like weird cartoons, you know? And I'm like, what is up with these people? It really, between Kills and Ends, makes the citizens of Haddonfield really not look good. So the characters are just a little off, not quite how real people behave. And also, the kills in this movie are toned down. Okay, there are some standout kills. There are some good moments. For example, Michael Myers kills a DJ and gets an old Green Day song stuck in my head. But he kills a DJ, a great, fantastic, rated R kill. But then so many other kills are cutaway kills or body found kills. And like, other than a very tiny percentage of them, I just don't remember much of the kills in a Halloween movie. You know, that's saying something. Like, there was a kill with a blowtorch that was kind of kept, like, way too close to the camera and out of focus, and I'm like, no, you build a wax dummy and you show us melting it. You know, you don't cheap out of this really good kill. But Halloween Kills, and the first Halloween even, well, the first Blumhouse one, I remember going into it and going, wow, this is a mainstream slasher with real hard R-rated kills, and I was really glad. And then the kills were a little crazier in Halloween Kills, but they were still there in hard R, and here it's like, some of the kills are that way, but most of them aren't. So yeah, 3 big things with this movie. 1, it is not the movie we were advertised. 2, the characters are weird cartoons. And 3, the kills just aren't great outside of basically the DJ kill and 1 or 2 other ones. So yeah, this movie was pretty disappointing. I remember sitting in the theater and going, where are they going with this? But not in a good way. Just, what the heck is going on? And there were so many times sitting in the theater where I'm thinking, who would make this decision? And I don't want to harp on it too hard, because like I said, if this wasn't a Halloween movie, it'd be this fun, weird little experimental slasher movie. But this is the Halloween movie, and it's Halloween Ends. And literally, I won't spoil it, but there's a scene near the end with a car, one of the last scenes of the movie, a big, epic finale piece. And if I were, I'm not going to, but if I were to spoil it for you, you wouldn't believe me. You would think I'm making some weird joke. But no, that's just how the movie ends. Yeah, no, I didn't get my expectations up too high. I was trying to go in, clean mind, but still, this is, I guess, not so much a bad movie as it is a weird movie, and you wonder who came up with these decisions. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the plot, and then after that, elaborate on a few things. But in regards to the plot, since this is a new movie, and since this does go in an unexpected direction, if you don't want to know anything at all about the plot, and believe me, the trailers don't really tell you what's going on, if you don't want to know anything at all, go ahead and cut off the video here. I'll be talking about the plot, no major spoilers, but I do want to actually say what this movie's about. We open up, 4 years have passed, and Laurie Strode is living with her granddaughter, Andi Matichak's character. I can't quite remember her name now. Laurie Strode's living back in town, away from her, booby trap mansion. So she's out of her trap house, and she's back in a regular house, and she says, Michael Myers has taken enough from me. I want to live a good, normal, peaceful life with my granddaughter and cherish what I have left, which is ultimately where the character should get to, but it is kind of weird that, such a big thing just happened between movies, Jamie Lee Curtis, and I do want to stress, all the actors do a good job, but yeah, just to see Laurie suddenly change and have a new outlook on life between movies is a little abrupt. Anyway, Andi Matichak works at Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, so she's out of high school, she's into her career. It's a little bit of a dead end because her boss is a huge jerk and she can't really get promotions, but she is starting out her career life there, so time is progressing, right? And we're introduced to this guy, and he's going to be most of the focus of the movie. I don't want to spoil it because it really is an interesting and kind of shocking scene, but let's just say tragedy befalls this guy, and after that, everyone in town looks at him. He's an outcast. So it's this outcast guy. He had a bit of misfortune, and some bullies are picking on him, and during an encounter, he cuts his hand really badly. Laurie sees him and actually prompts him to get revenge by slashing the bully's tires. Yeah, all these people in the Halloween movies are really mean. But yeah, Laurie's like, let's slash their tires and get out of here. And Laurie takes this guy to the hospital where her daughter works and essentially tries to set them up. And boy, does she go for it. She really aggressively just instantly falls in love with him. And I do want to mention, yeah, I said the people act kind of weird, like humans in general act really weird in this movie. And I know it is kind of a trope, the instantly fall in love with someone trope. I don't know, I'm a grungy horror fan. Maybe I'm too jaded to buy into that. But she just instantly falls for this guy. And, the tragic past is making the relationship a little hard, and the fact that both of them are local celebrities is making their relationship hard. But the bad guys, the bullies, come back, and they pester this guy once again, and they throw him off a freaking bridge. And then, I know what you did last summer, they get out of there, and the guys at the bottom of the ravine where the bridge goes over, and he sees a sewer tunnel, and he goes in, and it turns out he meets Michael Myers there. Michael Myers has just been hanging out in the sewer for 4 years, I don't know, playing cards with Pennywise or something. He's just kind of been living there like a hermit, doing nothing, And I think they imply that he kills people every so often, but mostly keeps to himself. But he sees this guy, he grabs him, and then, I kid you not, looks into his soul. So he holds this guy up, he sees his life through his eyes, and then starts to teach this outcast the ways of being a Halloween serial killer. They become like Batman and Robin. It's, taking the hem under your wing, apt pupil, stuff like that. And a lot of this movie is Michael Myers influencing random new character. And yeah, you see why people complain. Maybe if this character had always been Andi Matichak's boyfriend, and he had been a character from the beginning and they really built him up, then maybe this would have made more sense. But for some rando to come in the third movie and all of a sudden he's the big star, we built up Jamie Lee Curtis and her granddaughter, and then all of a sudden, no, it's this other guy that we're following, and we're following him instead of Michael Myers as well. It's just, we have all the pieces set out, and a random guy comes up and says, no, this is my show now. And again, the actor does a good job with what he's given. I don't want to blame him for that. But it's just an abrupt shift in story direction. And if this was a middle chapter, if kills came last and ends came in the middle, we would just be like, okay, it's a fun, random Halloween adventure, kind of episodic. We're gonna see a few different things before the finale, right? But no, this is the end. This is the last one. And it doesn't do what they literally said to everybody in the advertisements. And it's this weird, love story with a serial killer. I don't know. But anyway, outside of that, I hinted at earlier, the kills aren't anything special, and there is the DJ kill, which I think will probably be the only kill anyone remembers. Michael Myers kills this DJ, there's a great gore effect, and there's a fun little gag at the end of the kill, and I'm like, okay, this is the kills we're used to. But other than that, Michael Myers, does the stabbing someone and sticking them to the wall thing again, but this time it's on a painting. And it's like, okay, that's the extent. There's a few kills where, like the blowtorch kill, which demanded having a cool effect and they just don't give it. And overall, outside of the DJ kill, it's basically, I remember the DJ kill, her getting stabbed to the painting, and the blowtorch kill. And outside of that, I kind of remember them, but they're nothing that sticks in my mind too well. And having had two good Blumhouse movies with amazing, fantastic slasher moments, to see them done so poorly. It's the same director, they're done poorly, and there is a large chunk. At the beginning of this movie, there's a fairly large chunk before they meet Michael Myers, where it's just this weird, abrupt romance and partying that it is not even a slasher movie for that large chunk of it. So yeah, they're not great, and there's a large chunk at the beginning without them. It's not great as a slasher movie. And the other thing I alluded to earlier, people in this movie. The characters don't feel like themselves, and they feel more like cartoons sometimes. For example, the granddaughter character having this weird love story where she just instantly falls in love with someone, not so subtle flirting, and then just going out and partying and dancing really hard, and that weird scene where she's holding her hands out like this. What's up? Was this how the character always was? I don't think so. And then Laurie just abruptly finding peace between movies. Good for her. I want her to be happy, but, and she has, she's writing a book, so she has, weird voiceover, and at times the audio just sounds weird in the voiceover. I don't know what it is. But, yeah, our main characters are a little off. But man, the citizens of Haddonfield, again, the first time they formed a mob, and I'm like, okay, the mob makes sense, you want to kill Michael Myers. This time we just see them all being huge, constant jerks all the time. You know, people will randomly blame Laurie for Michael Myers. What? You know, it's like you antagonized a mentally ill person. No, some of her friends did, but Laurie was just defending herself. And besides, he had already killed people before that. You know, before he got to Haddonfield, he killed the paramedic. But yeah, random Haddonfield citizens blaming Laurie for all of the Michael Myers stuff. It makes no sense. These weird over-the-top bullies are going after the new boyfriend character, and it's this weird group of bullies that are driving around in this old-timey car, and they're like, you know, like a bad copy of Stephen King bullies, and it's just weird, and they feel, again, more like a weird cartoon than actual people. The new boyfriend character, his parents feel like a weird old SNL skit. I don't know what's up with his parents, but they are just a weird caricature, and I don't know what happened here. And also, okay, it's a really minor gripe, but someone has to say it. The meat. Laurie is shopping in this old 1980s grocery store for some reason, and she meets this guy and they're kind of flirting. He gets some meat from the butcher in this grocery store, and he just freaking tosses it into his cart, you know, the lower part of the basket. The meat is, you know, heavy with that flimsy styrofoam thing on the bottom and the really thin plastic. He picks it up and he just chucks it into his cart. I know, a minor gripe, and I'm probably the only one complaining about this, but that would at the very least crack that foam tray and might break open the plastic, and then you get meat juice leaking everywhere. And it was one of those things, you know, I know that no other people are probably talking about this, but I brought it up with the people I saw the movie with, and I said, you know what bugged me? That scene with the meat. And they immediately go, yeah, when he just threw it into his cart? Oh my gosh, that was just such a weird little not human thing to do, and it bugged me so much. Anyway, a bit of a rant, I'm sorry about that. I try not to be one of those teardown channels, but overall, if this movie wasn't a Halloween movie, and if you told me it was a Shudder original, I would say, okay, this is kind of weird, not great, but a fun, different take on a slasher. But if you tell me this is a Halloween movie, but not only that, but it's the last Halloween movie, it's just so disappointing to go out on a side story and then at the very last moment take it back to what we were promised. I think it's a case of, hey, this is the last battle between Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers. What can we do that we haven't done in H2O and Halloween 2018? And they probably asked themselves that question and couldn't come up with enough of an answer, couldn't think of enough things for them to do, and said, hey, we got like 15 minutes worth of that idea, just estimating, let's just come up with some random unrelated thing, and then literally in that plot and abruptly switch to the movie we were promised. I don't know. Again, it's not the worst thing ever. If it wasn't the last one, I could be more forgiving, but it's really not great. It's weird filler for a finale. I hope I didn't rant too long. I'm sorry if this video is way too long, but I just... it was disappointing, and I wanted it to be so much better. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my 2022 movies and TV playlist. And 2022, actually a bunch of fun new franchise stuff, you know, Halloween, but we also had Scream and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I really want to get to, I'm not sure when these reviews will come out, but I do want to cover the new Hellraiser and Predator movies. Those should be fun as well. So a lot of cool new stuff has come out in 2022. In addition to the franchise stuff, we got stuff like X and Barbarian. So if you want to see me talk about new stuff, that playlist will pop up there. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. 2022 playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.